The fire crackled in the hearth as Anozie sat alone in his crumbling hut, staring at the single calabash of palm wine before him. His hands, once strong from tapping the tallest palm trees, now trembled with regret. The man who had been admired for his skills and cherished for his good wife was now the shell of a person who had lost everything. And it was all because of a decision he could never take back. My name is Ngo, and I've been part of Amaudo village for decades. I've seen good men rise, bad men fall, and men like Anozie, who had it all but lost it to greed and foolishness. Anozie wasn't just any man. He was Amaudo's pride. A skilled hunter and palm wine tapper, he was known for climbing the tallest trees and bringing down the sweetest sap. His work fetched him money, and his humility won him respect. He was married to Azuka, a woman so caring and devoted that even the elders often praised her as an example to the younger women. Azuka worked tirelessly to support Anozie, managing their home with grace. She ensured his hunting tools were always in good shape and sold his palm wine with a smile that brought customers from neighboring villages. Together, they were seen as the perfect couple. But everything changed the day Amaka walked into the village. Amaka arrived in Amaudo like a whirlwind. She wasn't like anyone the villagers had seen before, and certainly nothing like Azuka. She walked with confidence, her brightly colored wrappers catching the sunlight and her shoes making a sharp clicking sound on the dusty paths. Her every move screamed attention, and she knew exactly how to command it. Amaka wore heavy beads that clinked when she walked, gold bangles that shimmered in the sun, and a red scarf tied high on her head, making her stand out even in a crowd. Her laughter was loud and bold, and she greeted people as though she had known them all her life. But there was something about her that didn't sit well with many of us. Her charm felt calculated. At first, Anozie, known for his humility, seemed indifferent to her presence. He would nod politely when they crossed paths, then continue on his way. He was busy after all. Between hunting and tapping palm wine, he barely had time for idle chatter. But everything changed the day Amaka approached him at the market. "Anozie, the great hunter!" she called out, her voice as bright as her outfit. "They say you climb the tallest palms and bring down the sweetest wine. Where is my share?" Her boldness surprised him. Anozie chuckled awkwardly and muttered something about coming to her stall next time. But Amaka didn't let him go so easily. She leaned in closer, her voice dropping into a playful whisper. "Don't make me wait too long, oh." From that day, something shifted. Anozie started lingering longer at the market. When Amaka was around, his smile seemed wider, his laughter louder. Soon, he was helping her carry her baskets, even when his own goods were still unpacked. At home, Azuka began to notice. She didn't confront him outright. Azuka believed in her husband's goodness, and she thought he would eventually see through Amaka's charms. But as the days turned into weeks, her heart grew heavy. One evening, I found Azuka sitting by the fire. Her face was pale, and her usually bright eyes were red from crying. "What's wrong, Azuka?" I asked, kneeling beside her. "It's Amaka," she whispered, barely able to say the words. "She's taking my husband." Her voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw the cracks in a woman I had always thought was unbreakable. As the days went by, Anozie's behavior became impossible to ignore. He stopped coming home early and no longer helped Azuka with their farm. Even his palm wine deliveries, which once ran like clockwork, became erratic. Villagers began whispering about his absences and speculating about his closeness to Amaka. One day, I saw them sitting under the big Iroko tree. They were laughing together, their heads close, and their hands almost touching. It wasn't hard to see what was happening. "Anozie," I confronted him later that evening. "What are you doing? Everyone in the village is talking. Azuka doesn't deserve this." He shrugged, a smirk on his face. "Amaka makes me feel alive in a way Azuka never could," he said, his tone dismissive. I couldn't believe my ears. This was Anozie, the man who once said Azuka was his rock. Now, he was throwing her away for fleeting excitement. Not long after, Anozie made his decision. One morning, Azuka woke up to find him packing his things. She didn't cry or plead. She stood by the doorway, her face calm but her hands trembling. "Are you sure this is what you want, Anozie?" she asked quietly. "I need to live my life," he said, not meeting her eyes. With that, he left. He moved into a small hut he got for himself and Amaka, leaving Azuka behind with nothing but memories. The village was in shock. Azuka, though heartbroken, carried herself with dignity. "I will be fine," she told me one day. "Anozie will realize his mistake, but I will not wait for him." At first, it seemed like Anozie had found happiness. He and Amaka threw loud parties and spent money as though it grew on trees. But cracks soon began to show. Amaka wasn't like Azuka. She didn't cook, clean, or support Anozie's work. Instead, she demanded gifts and attention, draining Anozie's resources faster than he could earn them. Villagers claimed Amaka was sending Anozie's hard-earned money to a man in another village, a secret lover she had kept hidden. Worse still, her rude behavior drove away Anozie's customers. One morning, Amaka was gone. She had packed her things and left without a word. Anozie was left with nothing, no wife, no money, and no business. Meanwhile, Azuka meant it when she said, "I will be fine." She threw herself into her work. She expanded the palm wine business and became even more beloved by the villagers, while Anozie and Amaka's separation became the talk of Amaudo for all the wrong reasons. The day Anozie came to me, he was unrecognizable. His clothes were torn, his once strong frame now weak and frail. "Ngo," he said, his voice trembling. "I've lost everything. Azuka was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw her away for a woman who destroyed me." By then, it was too late. Azuka had moved on. Anozie became a cautionary tale. The once proud hunter and palm wine tapper now spent his days sitting under the mango tree, staring into space. People pitied him, but they also saw his story as a lesson. Value what you have, or risk losing everything. If this story moved you, share it with others to remind them of the importance of loyalty and valuing what you have. Subscribe for more inspiring and captivating stories.